And also this leads to my next question with Coach Benni. I feel like this is a chance for him to reset and literally show people that this is how a national team. And I think Francis Kimanzi did. I need to give credit where it's due. Francis Kimanzi, the interim coach, was quite good at this. His interviews were he was very clear. He would tell you what's happening. He's not hiding anything. Transparency. And that is what we really lack it. I feel like the last coach made it so murky, made it so we don't know how a national team coach should be acting with the media and stuff like that. So that relationship has almost been non-existent, to be honest. And again, as I said, that leads to my next question. How was Coach Benni's relationship with fans? Like, was he a passionate guy? Was he like always there with the fans? Like, what is his relationship? Because I feel like that is one of the lowest hanging fruits. You know, like the moment he builds that bond with the fans, he buys himself a lot of support and a lot of goodwill, you know. Yeah, so maybe you can expound on that.
I think Coach Benni is just hyper passionate on his own. So it's not necessarily that he needs to reach out to fans. It's just that you watch him and you get that, you get that thing that, no, this man actually, some people talk a big game. I think the one thing we love about Coach Benni, some people talk a big game, but Coach Benni actually comes out and he lives it. So whether it be really wanting to win, you'll see him on the ground really wanting to win. If something happens you'll see him, he almost coaches like he's a fan, right? But the nice thing about him, and maybe what you'll appreciate about him, is that he's very straight talking. He's straight talking, he doesn't mince his words, and he backs up his words, and that always gets the fans on side. Sometimes you hear coaches talk a big game and they don't actually, I don't know how to put it, they don't actually follow through. But Coach Benni is one of those coaches that talks and does and acts. And his passion is usually what's very, what carries to everybody, what's very infectious. So, for example, I'm a Chiefs fan, a long-suffering Chiefs fan. It's been, 10 years trophyless, right, for Kaizer Chiefs. So the reason why some of us were calling for Coach Benni was because he's one of those coaches that is going to come in and, reinvigorate the club. We wanted him to reinvigorate, come inside and, give us that energy, the winner's energy, the winning energy, give us the motion, hold our management accountable. Yeah. So even from that point of view, you can tell how we feel about him. In terms of how he relates to us and the team and everybody else. Him and Coach Pizzo are very similar in that regard for us. So I think the fans are going to love him because he coaches like he's a fan. Even in the football that he plays and everything he does, you can tell that this is somebody who, it's not just about the love of football, but it's also, you want good football. You want to be entertained. You get what I mean? You want to see the youngsters come through. You want to do this. He really does that. And I think you guys are going to love him. But I want to ask you, you mentioned a media member there in your comments. What's the relationship like between the coach and the media? Because the one thing about Coach Benni, he's straight talking.
Yeah. I
don't know if he's going to change now that he's national team coach, but he's a straight talker. And what tends to happen in SA, similar in South Africa, similar with Coach Bruce, is that the moment you say something, there's a headline, even if it's out of context or whatever, and that drives a lot of how fans interact with coach. How is the media, that side, especially knowing that my coach, Coach Benni, can be a hothead at times, can be too straightforward at times?